when you think about these levers or assumptions in a financial model, how do I make sure I'm balancing the realistic versus the, kind of aggressive thing, or how do with these assumptions?
Super good question. And super hard to do, honestly. My philosophy is first, trust your gut. Like, I think like our guts tend to be pretty optimistic, but you should still trust your gut. You're in the boundary. You're in the captain's chair. You're making the call. Step like, put forward the plan that you think is attractive, but reasonable. You should be able to look at your forecast and say, first and foremost, I think I can hit those numbers. That's reasonability. And then secondarily, that would be attractive if I hit those numbers. That's attractiveness, right? And so your forecast should be attractive, but reasonable. If you can't with a straight face be like, I can hit those numbers and those numbers are attractive, like those numbers would be exciting to me or to investors, then your forecast is not good. You should tweak it, right? And so you start there, but then if you're early on, you don't have to just rely on that. One really useful tactic I've used, and one thing I think folks can use, is shoot a quick little Vim video of you walking through your model, highlighting the 5 or 10 driving things that drive the model, right? 5 minutes, right? Send that around to 4 or 5 founders that you respect, 4 or 5 of your current investors, maybe even if you're so bold, some prospective investors, right? That's fine. I like to do that kind of stuff. I think it's nice. And you say, look, watch this 5-minute video and give me your reaction. Do you think these assumptions are attractive but reasonable? Do you think I've got my head on straight? Do you think I'm crazy? Like, gut check me here. If 10 out of 10 people are like, dude, you're good, just execute, revisit next month and tweak it from there. If 10 out of 10 people are like, dude, you're crazy to think you're going to get that conversion, pull it down. But what happens usually is like 3 people say you're good and 2 people say you're not, and 6 people say, I don't know. Right. And then you just have to stew that up in your brain and make a judgment call. And that's all you can do, but you don't lose sleep over it because you've got systems within your business of tracking the real data, and you're going to learn over the next 6 to 12 months. And so you kind of do that to right and everything. And then in terms of like under promising, over deliver, it's a preferential game. Like, you do need to be attractive to attract investors, but you also need to be reasonable so that you can be one of those people that does what they say they're going to do. And some people like to be more on the aggressive end of that curve. Very attractive, pretty reasonable. Some of it will like be very reasonable, and it's pretty attractive. Right? And so either is fine, right? It's just kind of a preference thing. I personally like the camp of very reasonable, pretty attractive, because I can sell the dream on top to make it even more attractive. And then I can hit those numbers, and I can go back to investors and say, those numbers I said I was going to hit 6 months ago, well, I hit them. So look at these numbers over 12 months. And then they get more and more and more believable because you're actually hitting them versus like, I'm going to do this and then I do that. It's like, it really both play. I mean, I think clearly there are great examples of people that are super aggressive and they dream big visionaries, and they win as well. So you can win going big, you can win sandbagging. It's just all a matter of aligning with your authenticity. So you should put forth what you can confidently say is attractive but reasonable.